Imagine a world where everyone you see looks like a pig. That is the exact condition afflicting our main character, Lee. Seeking answers, Lee visits a hospital. The female doctor finds it hard to believe that such a young boy is suffering from this condition. To test him, she asks without hesitation, "Do I look like a pig too?" With a cold, expressionless face, Lee answers, "Yes." To push him further, the doctor tries to seduce him, pulling down her clothes to expose herself. "What about now?" she asks. With zero reaction, Lee replies bluntly, "I see a big pig." Defeated, she pulls her clothes back up and, with a creepy look, explains, "Your spine is damaged. Because of that, everything you see looks like a pig." Lee simply asks, "Is that all? Then please give me my spine back." The doctor is left completely stunned. Did he think she actually had his original spine? Later, riding the bus home with a blank face, Lee accepts his bizarre new reality. The next day at school is crucial. It is the official ability evaluation day. As Lee walks toward the entrance, his childhood friend and neighbor, Miri, approaches him. But to Lee, she is just another pig. She hits him playfully, complaining, "Why aren't you listening to me?" before grabbing his arm and begging, "Don't avoid me." To Lee, it just feels like being clung to by a farm animal. Inside, the principal stands before the ability testing crystal, explaining the power system to the students. To become a hunter, 3 attributes matter most: agility, spirit, and strength. The first few students, including a chubby boy, test their abilities but only awaken common life-type, non-combat, abilities. Next up is a nervous student named Shin. When Shin touches the crystal, it glows a brilliant gold. The principal announces in shock, "Combat type, Shadowless Bladesman." The crowd goes wild, and the principal smiles, telling Shin he has a bright future. Finally, Lee is called forward. The moment he places his hand on the crystal, a violent surge of purple lightning strikes it. The principal gasps, "It is a divine-grade ability." But as the text solidifies, the crystal reads, "Life-type divine ability, Pig Butcher." The entire room bursts into laughter. Disappointed, the principal tries to console him, saying, "There are many other jobs in this world, so don't worry." But suddenly, a glowing system interface pops up exclusively in front of Lee. System notification. For every pig you kill, your damage increases by 1%. Lee looks out at the laughing crowd of classmates and teachers. To him, the room is just filled with pigs. A cold smile plays on his lips as he thinks, "From now on, you are all just my stepping stones." As Lee walked off the stage, Shin and his brother cornered him, laughing mockingly and jeering that the academy had actually produced a divine butcher. Miri approached him gently, telling him not to worry since he had simply inherited his father's class, and adding that she would likely get a class related to her own parents as well. Meanwhile, some nearby students whispered jealously, muttering that even though he was just a pig butcher, he still managed to receive blessings. Suddenly, the principal called Miri up to test her power. She turned to Lee, promising she would be right back. The moment she touched the awakening stone, a massive blue fog erupted across the stage, leaving the principal completely shell-shocked. The crystal flashed with her results: combat type, Snow Soul Sword Immortal. Instantly shifting his attitude, the principal began desperately offering her endless resources and rewards for her future. As Miri walked away coldly, a group of girls whispered excitedly that Sister Miri was now the #1 genius in the academy, while others gasped, wondering if she would seriously continue hanging out with a mere pig butcher. When Miri approached Lee, he greeted her with a genuine smile to congratulate her. However, proud of her new high-class status, she cut him off completely. She told him that there had been a misunderstanding between them, that he was just a pig butcher while she was a combat queen, and demanded that he stop following her from now on. Lee's expression didn't change. Looking at her with completely calm, steady eyes, he simply replied, "Is that all? Okay, fine." Desperate to mock him and impress Miri, Shin stepped forward and proudly offered to teach Lee a lesson for her. Miri smiled happily and told him to go ahead. Shin lunged forward and aggressively grabbed Lee, but the moment Lee looked back, his eyes flared with a terrifying killing intent. Shin froze in absolute horror, sweating and feeling as though he were a helpless pig under a butcher's knife. Seeing Shin tremble, the crowd burst out laughing. To salvage his pride, a furious Chin threw a wild punch at Lee's face. Without flinching, Lee countered with an explosive punch of his own. The sheer, enormous force of Lee's fist completely shattered Chin's hand. As the crowd gasped in shock, a clutching, broken Chin screamed in disbelief, asking how a mere pig butcher could possess such overwhelming power. Looking down at him with a face as cold as ice, Lee warned, "Never try to hit me again." All the students are stunned when they see Chin's hands are already broken, but instead of backing down, he just gets even angrier. He pulls out his blade and goes straight for Lee. Everyone watching is convinced Lee's done for because Chin's combat ability completely outclasses his life-type ability. Chin even tells him he's dead meat. Then, out of nowhere, Chin freezes in place. His entire body gets covered in ice. Miri steps in and tells them not to fight in front of her. Before leaving, she warns Lee that they live in completely different worlds, and if they cross paths again, she won't spare him. The girls can't believe Lee stood there without fearing Chin at all. On his way home, he runs into an old woman walking what looks like a dog. But because of his ability, he sees it as a pig instead. He tells her to control her dog, but she blames him instead. So he sighs and kicks it with everything he's got, instantly killing it. Right away, the system pops up and rewards him with a 1% damage increase for successfully killing a pig. That confirms the theory he'd been testing. The old woman tries to attack him from behind, but Lee suddenly pulls out his medical report and claims he's a psychopath. That scares her so badly she immediately apologizes, takes all the blame, and lets him leave. When he gets home, his parents are excited because they think he awakened the pig butcher ability, which means he can finally inherit the family business. His dad tells him to get some sleep because he'll take him to the butcher shop the next morning. That night, a man surrounded by a black aura secretly visits Lee's father. Lee's dad insists his son is nothing more than a pig butcher, but the visitor points out that the son of the Cry Ghost should have some kind of special power. His father repeats that Lee is just a pig butcher. The man replies that if that's really true, the organization won't come after him. The next morning, Lee heads to the butcher shop with his dad. His father explains that every butcher needs a proper knife, and as soon as Lee picks one up, the system reacts. Then his father points to a pig hanging from a hook and tells him the goal is simple. Kill it in one strike by aiming for its weak spot. Lee one-shots a pig, immediately triggering a system notification. His dad praises the clean kill but points out his aim was actually trash. Patting Lee on the head, the dad admits this butcher work might be boring for a kid his age, but it is their livelihood. Lee immediately asks if he can just take out all the pigs in the shop. His dad loves the enthusiasm, pats his shoulder, and tells him to go wild. Lee goes to town on the rest of the livestock, and the system hits him with a massive buff notice, giving him a 1% damage increase for every single pig he slaughters. After clearing out the entire room, Lee drops into a chair to review his newly upgraded status screen. A nearby shop worker pulls the dad aside, completely shocked that this kid just knocked out an entire week's worth of manual labor in only a few hours. The dad just smiles, proud as hell, and says that is exactly what you expect from his son. Looking at his knife, Lee decides it is finally time to go out and see the world, so the next day, he heads out to hunt some of this world's crazy creatures. He makes it all the way to the country's border checkpoint to cross over and hunt different animals, but a security guard stops him. The guard warns him that since he has a non-combat, life-type profession, stepping past the border wall means he is strictly on his own. Lee does not blink, just says he understands, and walks right through. While trekking through the forest, a goblin jumps out to attack him, but Lee sees this as the perfect chance to test drive his brand new skill, Blood Shadow Butcher. He triggers the ability and effortlessly slices the goblin's head clean off. As he checks his system interface, a whole pack of goblins spots him and rushes his position. Lee just lunges straight at them, completely tearing through the crowd and killing them off one by one until only a single goblin is left standing. That last goblin tries to escape, so Lee follows it straight into a cave. Heading inside, he spots a door and kicks it wide open, only to find a girl tied up by the goblins and crying out for help. Lee saves a girl from a goblin. She thinks he is going to attack her next, but he just uses his knife to cut her ropes instead, completely taking her by surprise. She immediately hugs him in relief, thanking him for saving her life and admitting she was terrified. He looks totally unbothered, noting that the goblin is dead and deciding it is time to leave the cave. She quickly follows him out. Once they get outside, she looks back at the dark cave, thinking about how lucky she was that he showed up. She rushes to catch up with him, asking if he is leaving her behind. He tells her she is safe now, but she complains that she has no weapon and cannot survive out here alone. He asks what she wants him to do about it, and she shamelessly requests that he escort her to the next safe zone. He points out that he does not even know her, so she introduces herself as a level 4 assassin and tries to flirt, saying she can be quite helpful if he protects her. Our guy is completely immune to her charms, basically calling her useless since a level 4 assassin just got caught by a single goblin. She gets defensive, claiming it was an ambush by 3 goblins, but he shuts her down by pointing out there was only one dead body in that cave. Caught in a lie, she tries to switch tactics by offering information about a hidden chest she found on a map, promising to share the loot if they team up. He agrees to the deal, and she leads him through the forest, though she secretly plans to backstab him and take all the treasure for herself the moment they get there. As they walk, she spots a massive horned beast ahead and panics, telling him they need to hide because it is a high-level monster. Instead of running, our main guy pulls out his knife and casually walks toward it. She thinks he is completely insane and screams at him